I'm Gwen Schoen, food writer for the Sacramento Bee, and today in the kitchen we're making jam-filled pillow cookies. We're making a series of cookies every week between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and today is the first in the series, and this is jam-filled pillow cookies. These are made with a cream cheese dough, so it's a very soft dough that requires a lot of chilling before you can actually work with it. We're going to start with a cup of butter and 8 ounces of cream cheese. Make sure when you buy the butter and the cream cheese that you do not buy the whipped type, because that has a lot of water in it and it will affect the way the recipe turns out. So we're going to add that to the mixing bowl and blend that together really well. Once that's mixed up, add 1½ cups of flour and 1/2 cup of powdered sugar and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we'll mix that together really well. When the dough starts to cling to the sides of the bowl, it's blended just enough. And now we're going to take that out of the bowl, wrap it in wax paper, and chill it for an hour. Or you could mix this up the night before you want to bake and let it sit in the refrigerator overnight. You could actually even freeze this dough, and so a day when you have time to mix the dough together, you can put it in the freezer, and then when you're ready to bake, just take it out and thaw it. As you can see, this is a very soft dough. It's really way too soft for making cookies, but once it's been chilled, it'll firm up and it'll be a lot easier for you to handle. So wrap that up in wax paper and let it rest in the refrigerator for an hour. Now the dough has been chilled for an hour, and so you can see that it's gotten a lot firmer in the time that it's spent in the refrigerator. We're going to take half the dough and roll that out until it's about 1/4 inch thick. Set this aside till we're done. And it's kind of a sticky dough, so you need quite a bit of flour on your rolling board, your rolling area. So we'll roll this out to about 1/4 inch thick. And we're going to cut it into 2-inch squares. Those are our little pillows. My bench knife has little measurements on it which make it easy to measure out. Start out with an even triangle. You can take these pieces of dough and re-roll them. So we can measure about 2 inches is about there. And what we're going to do is add a filling to each one of these little squares. This one's a little bigger than it needs to be. Take about 1/4 teaspoon of almond paste and place that in the middle of each square. Quarter of a teaspoon of preserves, and you can use any flavor that you like. I happen to like raspberry, so I use raspberry, but you could use apricot or cherry or whatever kind you like. Add that on top of your almond paste. And we're going to transfer those to your baking sheet. And again, I like to use parchment paper on the baking sheet so that I don't have to wash it. Now, I'm going to roll out the rest of the dough to make tops for the pillows. You've got that rolled out. Cut some 2-inch squares out of that. Now take an egg, lightly whip it with a tablespoon of water. Brush that around the edges of your cookies. This is the glue that's going to hold the whole thing together. Put your little tops on the top, press them down. Then press the edges of the cookies together with a fork. That will hold all the jam and the almond paste inside as it bakes. Brush the tops with your egg mixture. More glue. And then sprinkle the tops of the cookies with raw sugar, and when these bake, they'll have a nice glittery look to them. So when you've filled all the pockets and sprinkled the sugar over the top, they're ready to bake, and you can bake them at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes, and they'll be all done. When they come out of the oven, they'll look like these. Hope this was fun for you. Thanks.